Today's video is a sample of 14 days that we just strung together to kind of illustrate the highs and the lows sometimes that will be thrown at you along the way. This particular rainy day shows how it started, but you'll see here in a second how it ended up when we arrived where we were going. So how your day starts and how it ends are many, many times
right
very different.
To 9th Street West, then take the first right.
Full-time RV living certainly is what you choose to make of it, because you have to realize that you can get beaten down by all of the things that break along the way that you have to fix for, and only the most fun part is you have to pay for it. And we'll show some of that later on in the video. But you also have to learn to work together as a team.
That just came in behind you. Might want to stop, and let him go by.
Now, Sue has stopped me from smashing into plenty of things along the way, and I really appreciate that. We're pulling into Red Bay Acres here. We're going to go on a tour of the Tiffin factory. We were not able to video anything inside. If you'd like to see what the factory and the paint facility looks like on the inside, I recommend you visit the YouTube channel RV Texas You All and look for the video that they did about 2 years ago on that subject. We have to be careful that we only go back so far, because during the leveling process we will actually drop a number of inches, and we don't want to come down on something with our engine components.
What are you doing here?
I know.
We are infiltrating Tiffin country. We're in Red Bay, Alabama, and we're at the, what is it, Red Bay?
Red Bay
Acres RV park. Yeah. Really nice, really nice. So we're walking around. We actually saw another Dutch Star, believe it or not, and then a Class C too that is not a Tiffin. So.
Right.
And between the three of us, we're going to see who gets more eggs on their rigs during the night when it's dark. We'll see.
The guy that had the Class C, he was sitting out there, and I said, you know, I feel like a communist infiltrating the compound here. And he goes, yeah, me too. But tomorrow at 9:30 a.m., we have to be about 7 miles from here at the factory. And
that is why we're here. We've seen the Newmar tour already. We saw the Integra tour, and now we're doing the Tiffin tour. We're in the area. Come on, why not? Right.
And it's kind of funny because we walk through here and we always look at the different rigs, and we saw open roads, which are gasser. We saw the open road red, which is the rear engine diesel. We saw lots of Phaetons. We saw Allegro buses, but we didn't see any Zephyrs. So either...
Are they made so well that they don't come here, or there just aren't that many?
Well, maybe when you can afford a Zephyr, you just have somebody fly in
Show
with
up,
some wrenches.
Something to say, Mark?
Well, you know, I've always talked about how I missed all sorts of opportunities, and I'm telling Sue to tilt it up so that my head doesn't get cut off. But I've missed all sorts of financial opportunities in life.
Artsy.
Like one of the things that I should have did is I should have immediately invested all my money in storage lockers, so that by the time I'd be 30 years old, I'd be making so much money that I would be busy just all day stuffing money in banks and stuff.
In your locker.
Yeah, yeah. Well, okay, so my fantasy for the guy next door across the street here, I don't know what he's making, but if you look at this place here.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine if this pad in this building next door, and the guy puts a sign up and it said, Tiffin owners, if you don't want to wait any longer, come over here and we'll fix it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
We'll store it.
Yeah.
We'll store it.
Tiffin owners are us, fix and go. Or something.
Oh my God. Once again, we're in Mark's world. Mark's world.
What are we in, honey?
Mark's world. We're in Mark's world. Mark's world. Mark's world is where he'd rather be. He loves living a fantasy.
The building in the far, on the other side of the fence there, you can see there's some garages there. That area that's all fenced in, you can actually get to by a walkway right next to our rig, which Sue might want to pan, is over here. We're in spot 5. Spot 6 actually is a walkway. And as it turns out, that walkway goes next door, and the place next door is Gerard. Now Gerard is the de facto awning place for all the Tiffin motorhomes now. So that is a really handy thing, that is there, so that if you come here to get a bunch of work done, in addition to maybe some awning work, you can work with them, and if it's something simple, they probably send people over here. Otherwise, I don't think that walkway would be that awesome, you know, for our golf cart. But otherwise, you drive over there. And all kidding aside, when I was talking about that pad across the street, Dollars to Donuts, that's somebody else that's a big supplier that is also going to probably be helping. Because, you know, Tiffin, like Newmar, is in the business of having satisfied customers. And there's so many customers now, and if they can't keep them satisfied by keeping these jalopies running, they've got to start thinking outside the box. And maybe that's why a company like Gerard is positioned here, and who knows who's going to be across the street.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, actually, okay, we should probably announce it. That's going to be the headquarters of our journey in Myles, right across the street.
Right across from Tiffin.
We're starting a complete training program for RVers. We're going to have a campground.
Okay, Mark's world is where he'd rather be. He loves living in a fantasy.
So I'm a little worried about the restaurant, honey.
Why?
Well, I was looking at the menu, and they had the open road burger, and then they had the Allegro Bay burger, and they even had a Zephyr burger. So way down in the bottom, I noticed they had a Dutch Star sandwich, and I went and looked at it, and you know what it's made of?
Oh God, Mark.
Liver and shoe leather. That's not fair. That's just not nice.
Ew, that's not even tasty.
Well, it had mayonnaise on it.
Right, we just finished our Tiffin tour, and I was a little nervous. It was cold, and I wore my winter coat, and it was way too hot. So I went back and I got this one, but it's a Newmar. So I was so glad that they had us put this vest on, so nobody knew.
Yeah,
that
but
we
see,
were
Sue doesn't know yet, because I didn't tell her till now, and you're going to hear at the same time
Oh
she
my
does.
God.
You know, they
Here we
were
go.
squirting you with a paint squirt gun.
On my back?
Yeah, you got all sorts of stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. Full of it.
It's April 19th, 2022, and like many YouTube channels that have big reveals on some of the different changes they make in their life, the different equipment they sell and then buy and change their style of travel, the OGM channel would like to make an announcement now. In case you can't tell where we are, we're in Red Bay, Alabama. We just got done with the Tiffin tour, and we were very impressed. We ended up spending some time picking out which color. Of course, we had to decide which size, you know, the big ones or the small ones, and the different models and the different paint scheme and everything. And we finally came to the decision, and we made a purchase. So this is the big reveal. I ended up buying a t-shirt, and I really like it.
Right, here's Mark. He's scoping it out, looking at them all. It's our first time here. This is our first time here this season,
Yeah,
so we weren't sure what we'd find.
We might have to come back, because after all, Sue, we do drive a Dutch Star And you can't be seen with contraband like this, but if you do it during the cover of night, or better yet, with a disguise, which I've been working on fashioning,
Really?
you might have to do it.
Oh my God. Wow, look at this.
Look at that. So there's a couple things I noticed over there that we're going to come back for.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and I kind of kicked it to the side. You didn't even see me do that, so we'll come back. But you know which way I'm going to plot my escape.
Your escape.
Yeah. You know which way?
The same way you did last time.
No, there's only one way. So if I ever stop RVing and the Chan band decides to get a job again, I'm telling you, they need to hire me as being the cynical person that is going to keep your company from having a bunch of lawsuits, because I want everybody to take a look at this and not realize the same thing I do, like in 1 second. Look at this bike rack. Now this company that makes this bike rack, they're really happy that somehow they saved money by not having the sides on it and make it cheap for people to install. But you can't tell me there isn't some rich person that is going to fall over that thing, twist their tibia, snap their femur, and take them for everything they got. You can't make something like oh, look at all
look
them
at the
there
trees.
Dutch stars, you know, boink. I don't get it.
Careful. Look at Mark.
Yeah.
He's having fun. He's having fun with his new RV mall pickup. Wow.
Yeah, it's that over there.
Wow. That Mark. He's having a good old time. Go, honey.
So I hired a company to do a wash and wax for $450 in the resort, like we do many times. But I ended up paying $0 because it was a trade-off after they stepped through my bathroom dome, and I had to have that fixed for $470. We have a 2014 Newmar Dutch Star, and a few of the windows are fogging up, but the most important one that I needed repaired was the driver's side one, so I could look out of the mirror decently. So we had it opened up and cleaned. I think this is kind of funny here. You see this cardboard insert put in, and it rained overnight and did not leak. But when the actual window was put back in and we stayed overnight another night, it ended up leaking, and they had to fix that in the morning. Oh well. Now this branch doesn't look that big, but it made an amazing sound when it dropped on the rig.
So it's not a big branch, but it's right on our solar panel.
We quickly decided to send up the most physically fit member of the OGM team.
And it doesn't look like it broke it. But we do have some debris up here, so we're going to have to blow some of this off besides breaking this one off.
I can sweep this off by just putting the pole up through it and bring it back, honey. Should I do that? Maybe. I'll go get the pole.
No.
I got to do something on camera so I look useful.
Well. All right, I'm gonna
I can just dance in my pajamas here.
There you go. Mark's had his PJs on too. There you go. That's enough of that. All right, here goes the branch. You ready?
Yep. Timber! Okay.
Woo.
We got it.
Down she goes.
God, this little branch is heavy.
It is heavy. It made quite a thud.
You know, honey, if you had your special pajamas on, we'd get more views.
It's a good thing I changed my top. I'm ready here. All right. Cleanup is successful.
Excellent. The Dutch Stars back in one piece.
Right, so the culprit of all this is right here, this big, beautiful tree. And we're glad it was a small one. I mean, a small branch. It's not a small tree. Looks like there aren't any more dead ones up there either.
What do you think? How heavy is it?
This is heavy.
Pretty heavy,
This could have done some damage on the panel.
Yeah.
Big time. Big time.
Right, well I would have carried it, but you know, I gotta carry the camera.
Remember, I'm the mule in the family,
Yeah.
not Mark.
Alright. Alright, honey, let's go inside, and I think you should change into the special pajama.
Oh, shit.
No. When we heard this bird on the roof, it was an amazing amount of trampling and pecking, and at first we thought it was a woodpecker, which really does freak you out because they can do a lot of damage real quick, especially if they think there's something in your caulk. Usually the animals running around on your roof are squirrels, and you kind of want to watch that they don't do any damage as well. We really love being members of the ELKS Club, not only because of the good mission statement that it has, but to be able to take part in staying at awesome lodges like this that many times are in perfect positions where we're visiting. Where are you going, Sue?
Can't you tell? I'm yellow today. We are heading to Louisville Loop Trail. Just found it on Trail Links, and it's right along the Ohio River, and it's a beautiful day. We've got one day to spend here in Louisville, and that's what we're gonna do.
Well, how the heck did you find a decent trail when you don't even live in this area?
I know, Trail Links, awesome. They have a variety of them in here. This is the one that we thought would be the most scenic, and after reading the reviews, that's pretty much what they said.
Well, let's get going.
We'll see. We'll see.
All right,
let's go. It's always something.
Wish I had a YouTube channel that I could swear on. Because trust me, it would be happening.
Yeah. So we're all ready to go, and as I'm getting ready to hop in, the stairs were closed just halfway. Well, more than halfway, but they weren't in. So we're fooling around with it, and I eventually, stepped on it and must have dislodged something, and all of a sudden it came out all the way. We're like, yay, it's moving. But now it's stuck on the outside. It's coming out, and we can't get it to go back in. So here we are, ready to leave and have a move day, and we're fixing things.
So I'm glad I was a mechanical engineer licensed in the state of Wisconsin for 40 years, because it allowed me to come up with inventions like this when my steps don't work, to be able to bring my steps back in, because this actually is a step. But now I'm going to anchor it inside here so I don't lose this, because with my back, this is a 3-day job to go retrieve this cable.
Oh my God.
The way you can tell the step stool is too short is that you can still step on the picnic table inside, you can still step on the picnic table, and you can still open the door.
Wow, it's like you have your own personal patio now.
This is first class Dutch Star quality. What are you doing under there, Sue?
The usual stuff.
Yeah.
Just taking care of business.
Yeah.
It's our business.
The usual things that you have to do to a Dutch Star to be able, last week it was all the things you have to do to be able to flush the toilet, and this is all the things you have to be able to do to have your stairs work. So we're taping up the control wires so they don't get all corroded and screwed up in between, hopefully, me fixing it. But you can see that I've got the stairs all bungee corded up. Once you point to them, honey, I don't want to zoom. Remember, I got your camera, not my camera, not the good one. So
Squeeze it together.
All right. Well, let's get on the road, honey, because now you got navigating to do, all right?
That's right.
So this is what I ended up replacing on my stair. I ended up replacing this gearbox, which is, I believe, a worm gear that's driving a big regular gear. That's a motor there. I picked up a version that's a high torque version, so hopefully it has more capacity in it to survive the torque, and therefore, because the torque is still the same in this operation because nothing is bound up, that it'll last better. I replaced this gearbox also, and after I saw how it's built on the inside, you'll never have to replace that. You could probably tow Dutch Stars out of the back 40 with that thing, so don't ever replace that. This control I replaced a couple of years ago. You'll probably want to replace that if you ever have any issues, as well as the motor, and just take a pass on this gearbox. The other thing that seems to be really problematic though is the ground. So when you finally disable the wiring and you screw the screw back in and you you know, rough up the metal for the ground, just like this one over here, make sure that you silicone all around the ground so that you never have a problem, and your connections, make sure that when you're done putting them together, you wrap them all together, you know, to keep out the water. The other thing is not only make sure the power is off if you think you can find the appropriate fuses, because trust me, I had trouble doing it. Make sure you take this control apart here before you do anything working on here, because if somebody walks through that door or the magnet gets dislodged or whatever, and the thing takes off on you and your arms are in there, you're not going to be in good shape. One of the other things that's a problem sometimes, it wasn't a problem on mine, you'll see these wires here, they're going up into Never Never Land in the corner there. Well, sometimes people think that there's an issue with their magnets. You'll notice that that cable goes way up into the wheel well here and then ducks into the coach. That's because there's some magnet sensors that are being monitored by the control module that is right here. So hopefully the only thing you ever got to do is put this motor in, because once you learn how to do it, you take these 3 screws off and it comes right down. Kind of the guts of this transmission will fall down. Not too bad, just 2 parts. Put it back in, schmuck it full of grease, put the new motor on, you're good to go. All right, back to your regularly televised channel. And while we're on the subject of genius ideas, come on, Sue, why don't I show you this one? We have the pen that you need to put a tick mark on here when you flush the toilet. We have 5 days, maybe 6 days that we have to boondock here. We're not real good boondockers. And so, monitoring your flushes.
And poopery.
Putting a little poopery to freshen things up, so to speak. We get 60 flushes, that's 12 a day. Sounds like a lot, guess what? It can go pretty fast.
Yeah, if you're not watching.
How do we know we have 61 flushes only? Don't ask. It's always something. Let's see if I fixed it. Freshwater, 46. Gray, 75. And black, 50. Yes, I fixed it. So, how hard was it to fix? Well, other than waiting for parts and arguing with SeeLevel gauges, it wasn't too bad. But I had to rip the whole bay apart that's got my pegboard. You can see the mess I got going on. And remember, this is day 2, because first I had to rip it apart to find out what's wrong with it, and then I had to argue with SeeLevel gauges. Let's take a look. In a nutshell, this gauge here is a strip that self-adhesives on, and apparently one of those went bad on me after 3.5 years, even though they told me that, oh boy, they never have any problems with those, nobody ever has any issues. the Chan man had to pay for one, so kind of a pain. But once again, just one of the things that happens all the time when you're on the road. 2 years ago, I defogged and buffed out the headlights on the motorhome, and after 2 years I've got to do it again. So here's a quick before and after to start out my discussion here. So here I am 15 minutes later, and remember, I'm slower than the average bear. This is how the light restoration turned out. 15 minutes and they look like brand new again. Now I can tell you that I got exactly 2 years out of that treatment before it looked like they needed to be tuned up. I mean, I could have did it 6 months ago, but if this is the type of results you get with 15 minutes worth of work, it certainly doesn't make any sense to go to a junkyard or buy new ones to try to fix that up just so your Dutch Star looks awesome right before you sell it. So here's a little pro tip we learned. Sue's out there wiping the windshield clean, and obviously you want that done when you're driving your rig, but this is just not any old cleaner. She's actually applying a Rain-X product to have the repellent on the windshield. We're expecting to be driving in the rain probably most of the day tomorrow, and nothing's more miserable than that, other than snow and sleet, I guess, because these windshield wipers are so long and so giant and so useless half of the time that it's best not to have them on. So I'm thankful that I've got an energized wife and she's doing a great job. So it's a pro tip. Always make sure you put Rain-X on when you're anticipating rain. Makes your life a lot easier. It's 11:30. I was waiting for Sue.
Oh, please.
Actually, I was the one that...
I was up 3 hours earlier than him. How about that?
Yeah, but you know, Sue, that's not what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about today the possible problem that we're starting to have that's either going to require us from stopping the RV or get a different, bigger RV.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you'll notice that...
Are we getting a hot tub?
Sue is starting to just come up with just an unbelievable assortment of
Look at my
plants.
bonsai. I've got it wired.
Yeah.
It's bending.
But that's not the least of our worries. If you know, people that have watched the channel for a while, they know that you have a trampoline that we're carrying, and now these plants here. You're forcing us out of RVing because we just don't have any room anymore.
No.
And I just like to show folks the only things that I carry. If you want to grab this camera here.
Oh my God. Can't imagine.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Well, you'll notice that one of the only things that I bring along, look at how small it is and how multi-purpose it is. I mean, this here is a shoehorn. I can take my socks off by using the little gripper here. What I use it for the most is when I'm editing and my back starts to itch because I went in a hot tub and I got a little chlorine here. You know, I do that. But that's it. I mean, look at the comparison of the size. Okay, one other thing I remembered. I always have this helmet light. But this is so that I can work on the rig, so I know what I'm doing. A lot of times if I get a sliver, and if you'll know anything about the slide this side up against leg gadget for putting socks on, and if you'll notice that I now have the Kizik
Oh my
shoes
God,
here,
is this a commercial?
that
What?
look at that.
No. They're off. They're
Okay, so actually this picked up one more use. Sue, deny it that you were using this last night.
Oh, we won't talk about that.
And what were you doing using this?
Do we have to admit it?
Sue loves me enough that she was cutting my toenails. Gonna lose a lot of subscribers for that one.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, you're like Captain Kangaroo. What else you got in that pocket?
Get out of here, you have to ask yourself, where's the gravel? Where's the coconut? When you're walking around.
Where's the coconut?
Yeah, I spread it in the gravel. Never know where it is. You'll be walking barefoot, you'll be walking on coconut.
All right. And with that, we're going to leave you to guess what is coconut on the stairs.